Welcome to Myth or Reality Stories. Is this story a myth and untrue, or a reality and totally true? You decide.
Join me as I dive into 5 mysterious events that defy explanation and see if I can make sense of these weird stories. Have you ever heard a story that just didn't add up, no matter how hard you tried to make sense of it? Maybe it was a strange occurrence that happened to a friend, or something you read about online. Whatever it was, it probably left you with more questions than answers. That's what I love about mysterious events. They're like puzzles that we can't seem to solve. But what makes them so fascinating? Is it the thrill of the unknown, or the fact that they challenge our understanding of the world? Whatever the reason, I'm obsessed with these kinds of stories, and I'm excited to share 5 of them with you today. From unexplained disappearances to bizarre creatures, we're about to dive into some of the weirdest and most mysterious events out there. So, buckle up and get ready to have your mind blown. Or, at the very least, get ready to be thoroughly confused. The first mysterious event I want to talk about is the disappearance of the Sodder children. This is a case that has been baffling investigators for over 70 years. It all started on Christmas Eve in 1945, when a fire destroyed the Sodder family's home in West Virginia. But what was strange about this fire was that 5 of the 9 Sodder children were missing, and despite an extensive search, no bodies were ever found. Theories abound, from arson to kidnapping, but the truth is that we may never know what really happened to those children. The investigation was shoddy at best, and many questions were left unanswered. Did someone set the fire intentionally, or was it just a tragic accident? And what happened to the children? Did they escape, or were they taken? The Sodder family was left with more questions than answers, and the case remains one of the most bizarre in American history. It's a reminder that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction, and that even in the face of tragedy, we may never find the answers we're looking for. One of the most fascinating aspects of this case is the series of strange events that followed the disappearance. The family began to receive strange phone calls and messages, hinting that the children were still alive. But were these just cruel pranks, or was someone trying to communicate with the family? The investigation into the disappearance was reopened several times over the years, but each time, it seemed like the leads went cold. It's as if the case was cursed, and that we'll never know the truth about what happened to those 5 children. Despite the lack of answers, the Sodder children's disappearance continues to fascinate people to this day. Maybe it's because we can't help but imagine what it would be like to lose a loved one in such a mysterious way. Or maybe it's because we're drawn to the unknown and the idea that there are some things that are just beyond our understanding. The Sodder children's disappearance is a reminder that life is full of mysteries, and that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. It's a case that continues to haunt us, and one that I'll be thinking about for a long time to come. Let's move on to our second mysterious event, which is the tale of the Mothman. This is a story that has been passed down for generations, and one that continues to send chills down people's spines. In the 1960s, people in West Virginia began to report seeing a strange creature with glowing eyes and giant wings. It was dubbed the Mothman, and it seemed to be a harbinger of doom. But what was the Mothman, and why did it seem to be connected to a series of disasters? The first reported sighting of the Mothman was in 1966, when a group of men digging a grave claimed to have seen the creature. Over the next year, more sightings were reported, and the legend of the Mothman was born. But what's really strange about the Mothman is that it seemed to be connected to a series of disasters, including a bridge collapse that killed 46 people. It was as if the creature was trying to warn people of impending doom, but why, and how? One theory is that the Mothman was a supernatural being, sent to Earth to warn people of danger. Another theory is that it was just a misidentified known animal, or even a hoax. But the truth is, we'll never know for sure, and that's what makes the Mothman so fascinating. The Mothman has become a cultural icon, symbolizing the unknown and the unexplained. It's a reminder that there are things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. The Mothman sightings continued until the bridge collapsed, and then they stopped. It was as if the creature had fulfilled its purpose, and could finally rest. But the legend of the Mothman lives on, and continues to captivate people to this day. Let's move on to our third mysterious event, which is the tale of the Taos hum. This is a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about noise pollution. In the 1990s, people in Taos, New Mexico began to report hearing a strange, low-frequency hum. It was constant and seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. But what was causing it, and why did it seem to be driving people crazy? The Taos hum was investigated by multiple government agencies, but no one could figure out what was causing it. It was as if the hum was coming from some kind of supernatural source, or maybe even from another dimension. One theory is that the hum was caused by a secret military experiment, but there's no evidence to support this. Another theory is that it was just a strange natural phenomenon, but again, there's no evidence to support this either. The truth is, we'll never know for sure what caused the Taos hum, and that's what makes it so fascinating. It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. The Taos hum continued for years, driving people crazy and sparking all kinds of conspiracy theories. But eventually, it just stopped, as suddenly as it had started. It was as if the hum had fulfilled its purpose, and could finally rest. The Taos hum has become a legendary mystery, symbolizing the unknown and the unexplained. It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. Let's move on to our fourth mysterious event, which is the tale of the Mary Celeste. This is a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the sea. In 1872, the Mary Celeste was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean, with no signs of foul play or natural disaster. But what was strange about this was that the crew was gone, and all their personal belongings were still on board. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. The investigation into the disappearance of the Mary Celeste crew was one of the most extensive in maritime history, but no one could figure out what had happened. It was as if the crew had been abducted by aliens, or maybe even worse. One theory is that the crew had mutinied, but there was no evidence to support this. Another theory is that they had been attacked by pirates, but again, there was no evidence to support this. The truth is, we'll never know for sure what happened to the Mary Celeste crew, and that's what makes it so fascinating. It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. The Mary Celeste has become a legendary mystery, symbolizing the unknown and the unexplained. It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. Finally, let's talk about our fifth and final mysterious event, which is the tale of the Toynbee tiles. This is a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about street art. In the 1980s, people in Philadelphia began to notice strange tiles embedded in the pavement. They had cryptic messages on them and seemed to be some kind of code. But what was the purpose of the tiles, and who was behind them? The truth is, we'll never know for sure who created the Toynbee tiles, or what their purpose was. It's a mystery that continues to fascinate people to this day. One theory is that the tiles were created by a group of artists as a form of street art. Another theory is that they were created by a government agency as some kind of experiment. But the truth is, we'll never know for sure. The Toynbee tiles have become a legendary mystery, symbolizing the unknown and the unexplained. It's a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain, and that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. So, there you have it, 5 mysterious events that defy explanation. From the disappearance of the Sodder children to the Toynbee tiles, these stories are a reminder that there are still things in this world that we can't explain. But what do you think? Do you have any theories about these mysterious events? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this, then please subscribe for more content.
This story is a reality and totally true. Please subscribe, or else.